Well, it's Saturday, and we're back on the boat for a little bit more work. Nothing quite as strenuous as we were doing the last couple of weeks. Our hatch project is just about finished. It is finished, except for a little cleanup here and there. And we're going to tackle the next stage of this thing, and that is to refinish the walls in the v-berth area. And that's not going to be too difficult. We've got many instructions from Frances as to how to clean the walls, which is what we're going to do today. She's got her favorite homebrew cleaning stuff down there for me. I've got a bucket of water and scrub brushes and stuff, and we're going to go and make it ready to paint pretty soon, I hope. So the only other thing I thought was interesting about today was it's March 12th, and that is that I saw a boat in the water here on the river. It's tied up 2 marinas down from here. A big boat, about 48 feet probably, big sedan, and it's in the water ready to go. So I assume someone's going to come up and take that someplace for the summer. And that's interesting this early because 10 days ago there was floating ice in this river. So that's, as everybody says around here, well, you know, that's a New England spring, and it is. So we're going to get started. Not only do the walls need to be cleaned, but there's a lot of nicks and holes from stuff that was mounted in them over the years, all of which we're going to have to fill. But I think we're going to be able to do that. You can see a place there on the wall where the wall covering was ripped. We cut it away. I should get out of the light, I guess. We cut that away so that it's now not hanging out anymore. We think we're going to put a little spackling compound in there to probably fill that in prior to painting. This is the wall in the galley that we did last summer, and it looked just as bad as the ones in the v-berth does before we started. But if you do the preparation carefully, it comes out really nice and smooth. Well, it's a couple hours later, and we have washed all the walls in here and all the woodwork. We use something that Frances likes to use called Durtex, which really works well on this old wall covering. We also disconnected all the wiring we had for the TV that's over here, the cable, all the rest of this stuff. And we started to make a list of all the things we're going to need to complete this. It's not going to be as easy a job as I thought, because I'm going to have to do some wiring and stuff. This nice reading light is going to go up here. You can see that in this shot up here for the upper berth. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to put a piece of that wiring chase, which you can't see, but I'll show it to you in a minute, to cover up the wiring, to get the wiring over here to feed power to the reading light. But the reading light is surface mount. Maybe I can show you if there's enough light. Surface mount. So I'm going to have to make a fairing block of some kind to mount the light on, so I can get the wire in underneath this to make the connections back here for it. All of that, plus some more, which I'll show you in a second, all of this has to be done before I paint. I guess I was anxious to get painting, and I guess I'm not going to be doing that very soon until I get all of these little wiring issues taken care of. There's the other wall opposite the one I was just showing you, and this is the TV. I think you can see. Let me just see if you can see it. Yeah, there's the TV that swings out from the wall. That has to have a little slack. It has power and cable TV connected to it. So that's going to go down here and go on another one of those wiring chases and disappear behind that wall, if you can see that wall. drill some holes, put a box in here, and make the connection for cable and power for the TV behind that locker. If you can see it or not. Yeah, there it is. We'll go in. We'll go in right in here and make the connections behind here. That won't disturb using a locker for clothing because we'll do it against that wall. So all of this stuff has got to be done before we do any painting. So I've got a list about a page long of stuff I need, and I guess the next step is to start to assemble the stuff and get busy on the next phase of this project.